A North Dakota Democratic leader convicts a man without a trial. This is something that should have never happened. The news should have been all over it. But instead, the news helped do this. I'm going to show you a skilled politician on camera bearing false witness before the population of North Dakota. Later in this video, I'm going to show you spies threatening to kill the real witness. The people who act so professional behind a badge at the top of our government are the criminals I catch. They provoke and incite with a sly grin on their face. Then when they get the response they provoked, they jump on that response. I catch their enforcer, the intimidator, and expose him also. Then it's the top government criminals that censor the voices of the victims. You're going to see more evidence that someone with the ability to control the internet shows up with big guns and provocative messages. You won't get to see their face, but you will get to see that they are silencing a political candidate. Hello everybody, I'm Ferris Broxton. I'm still alive, and they haven't snatched me off the street yet with false accusations. They're laying the groundwork for it. I hope if they grab me, you'll make some noise. We can't count on our big reporter, Rob Port, to give us the truth. Watch him conspire against the man he's already falsely accused. Clip 1, please.
If that's what happened, that's felony terrorizing. Now,
notice, he doesn't read from a police report or provide any specific details. Jerol Gohrick has exposed top state authorities at the will of the people. The reporter, Rob Port, is admitting that state contractors are making an accusation against Gohrick on his own property. Only he doesn't point out that they're state people making the accusation. Contractors for the government. Port says that if this happened, then he's guilty. Not by a long shot. You have to make a whole lot of assumptions. Now he provides a little background in an exaggerated clip, the full story that this clip's taken out of. But he still doesn't show the police report in the fine details. I can provide countless scenarios that would show Port's media convictions are defective. Let's show this in conspiracy. Conspiracy means in the same breath. In other words, people are conspiring to frame somebody. Once again, Rob Port, clip 1, please.
If that's what happened, that's felony terrorizing.
Now, his guest, the oh so self-controlled Senator Aaron Oban. Clip 2, please.
And if what happened with Jerol is true.
Wait a minute. She said, if what happened with Jerol is true. That's really disturbing. The truth is defined by what happened. Whatever happened with Jerol is true. So he's guilty because Aaron Oban says so. This is how corrupt government works. They do this in the courtroom too. I know because I personally watched the transcript fixer go back and tweak the heinous statements made to a jury. If you're not allowed to bring your video camera into the courtroom, it's because they're corrupt. They don't want you to pick up on what they're really doing. Now let's look at that one more time. It's really smooth. Clip 2, please.
And if what happened with Jerol is true.
A very respectable looking lawmaker says that if the truth is true, then Jerol Gohrick must be scary. The truth is defined by what happened. But whatever they accuse Jerol of and what happened are likely two very different things. She just said that the truth makes him guilty. That's a false accusation. That's called bearing false witness. She's at the top of our school system and government. She was a lawmaker who works with attorneys. She knows exactly what she just said. This is a hit piece where they not only attack Gohrick, but they also attack Charlotte Moore. She says she's concerned about the children in our schools because of Charlotte Moore. They took the 10 Commandments out of the schools and put LGBTQ plus indecent books on the low shelves of the children's school libraries. They don't care about bearing honest witness. They've taken that out of your children's education. There is no middle ground. There is no doubt. These two have conspired to frame a man in the court of public opinion. This is a very carefully crafted 90-second clip that they chose to publish. This alone is enough to have Jerol Gohrick's case thrown out of court, unless they have a video, a full scenario video. Once again, my story here today isn't a defense for Jerol Gohrick. This is an indictment against the people who have conspired to bear false witness against him. We've proven beyond any shadow of a doubt that there's a group of people doing that. But it gets worse. Worse than what you just saw. Watch as these political activists pretend to be concerned bystanders. They act like they aren't political. Rob Port is concerned about everything being put into a political narrative. Watch. Clip 3, please.
Like, I'm worried about how angry and about how angry we just generally are as a society right now.
And I worry about the funneling of everything into a political narrative.
Yes.
Erin Oban is the victim now. The woman who's bearing false witness is scared of this terrifying man that lives right next door to her. Watch her performance. She is a skilled politician and actor. It's all a well-rehearsed drama. She makes a false accusation that Jerol is the bad man, if true is true. She's scared for her safety because of the man next door. Watch. Clip 4, please.
That worries me a lot. And if what happened with Jerol is true, I am concerned about the temperament of our neighbors.
Erin Oban says she's concerned about her neighbor, Jerol Gohrick. It looks like they're both trying real hard not to laugh. I don't think it's funny at all. I don't think Erin Oban is really Jerol Gohrick's neighbor. I think she's bearing false witness in a well-rehearsed plot to frame a person that's been fighting for your freedoms. Jerol Gohrick is the chair for District 2, out by Tioga. Erin Oban has been the Democratic state senator for Bismarck. Bismarck is a good 3 hours or so from Tioga. Erin Oban is terrified that she might accidentally step off the edge of her property and catch a stray bullet from Toontown. She's not afraid of anything. She's a false witness. Picture 1, please. Erin Oban and her husband are long-term Democrat activists. So as they act like they're worried about all this getting put into a political situation, you should know who they are. Chad Oban is a long-time activist in North Dakota politics. He served as the executive director for the North Dakota Democratic NPL. His wife, Erin Oban, is a Democratic state senator from Bismarck. This is who we're looking at. This is a political hit job, if there ever was one. A political activist and a smooth-talking reporter conspire to mislead the public and push their narrative in order to manipulate the politics of our state. Let's defame and frame their leader. We've been talking about how fake news and conspiring deceivers mislead the citizens. It's top national news. The top news case is all about how the spy agencies were behind a grand conspiracy to overthrow our government. False reporters hide the truth and conspire against our conservative leaders, while deep state spies silence and intimidate the witnesses. This is happening right now, and right here in North Dakota in our political system. It's happening while it's under investigation across this nation, and the most important eyewitness, me, is being silenced. That's why I'm here. Many of the conservative politicians have been bullied off of social media. The voices of conservative leaders have been silenced. Deep state criminals are behind this. Make no mistake about it. Today I'll be showing more evidence against criminal spies threatening, manipulating, and intimidating the conservative voices. You're going to see a death threat against me. Like last week's podcast, it's very cleverly designed to both silence me and threaten me. They're telling me what I can and can't do. I'm not a reporter. I haven't even had time yet to put together an attack in Williams County against me. This is the same place where they accused Jerol Gohrick. A migrant worker under the control of the people I and Jerol Gohrick exposed tries to pull off a strong-armed robbery on me. It was obviously staged, and it was followed up by a spy that I haven't had time yet to put together. We're going to do a story on him when we get to North Dakota. This criminal got messed up. He probably wouldn't be around to rob anybody else. I would like to thank Williams County Sheriff's deputies and the State Patrol for a job well done, for seeing through the false accusation and setup in my case. When the criminal was lying unconscious on the ground, I gently took my property back and made sure he was okay. Most people wouldn't do that. If you don't think there are criminals that will conspire to set up Jerol Gohrick, consider this. I am an unheard eyewitness, not only in the local story I'm going to be telling you about later, but in the national top investigation, the grand conspiracy investigation. That's why they keep trying to provoke me and get me in trouble. How is it that I'm not testifying for Jason Quinones and Joe DeGeneva in front of a grand jury right now? It's because our spy community is caught, and they're doing everything in their power to silence the witnesses. What's really going on here? The deep state wants to steal your voice and tell you what popular opinion you need to believe. They want to steal your First Amendment right, and they want to steal your Second Amendment right. Once they take those two, they got the rest of them in the bag. Jerol Gohrick is the firewall. He's their chief target, the spokesman for the citizens and the founder of the Sons of Liberty. Now, I'm not a member of the Sons of Liberty. I saw their stand at the convention and picked up a couple shirts. I think you should know what they stand for. I bought their shirt because it stood for the same thing that I stood for. And it says right on it, this is what we stand for. National pride. We love our country. Second Amendment rights. States' rights. Voter ID. Limited big government. Poll watchers. Fair media. No kidding. Lower taxes. Keep the country open and close the southern border. Well, it just so happens that I agree with every one of those statements. Now, I'm not a member of the Sons of Liberty. I haven't had time to catch up with them. I don't know Jerol Gohrick. I've talked to him a couple times. We're not friends. I think I'd like to join the Sons of Liberty and support him and his organization. I think there might be a whole lot of other people that think that's a good thing to do. If our corrupt government will do what Rob Port and Aaron Oban just did to lie and frame somebody, then how can we believe two government contractors without a video? Before I get to the video of spies threatening to shoot me and frame me, let me expose one of Rob Port and Aaron Oban's enforcers. So I watched the hit piece that we're talking about now. I post my response on Rob Port's video. There is plenty of respectful discussion on both sides. But there is a group that makes a concerted effort to silence me by making lewd and ridiculous insults. Rob Port left that mess up. Those comments are still up right now. But the one that stands out the loudest is an attorney, a Marine, and a 3-time state champion wrestler. He's an attorney. We know he understands what he's saying. He has me shooting at people and calls me an impotent coward. While I'm being attacked on every angle, I have somebody accusing me and threatening me. This intimidator is Dan Lip. The real problem here is he's using the same words. Impotent, The same obnoxious insult that Rob Port uses to insult the leader of the Republican Party. So when you watch Aaron Oban and Rob Port act like they're just so concerned about their neighbor, remember, it is Rob Port who started the fight by hitting below the belt. It's Rob Port that throws the obnoxious insults and the provocations. At the very best, these deceivers are trying to convince you that a man is a threat to somebody who's damaging his property. Therefore, he's a threat to you. That's the very best they can do with this claim. The whole thing is beyond absurd, and it's all based on if. So if Rob Port doesn't know doesn't know that impotent is a fighting word, then perhaps he knows that telling a man he has small genitals is also a provocation. This is common on Rob Port's website. In other words, our host, who claims to be concerned about temperament, is once again baiting the response. Rob Port leaves up that inciting language on his website. Protecting the instigators like Dan Lip. The hit piece isn't just on Jerol Gohrick. They accuse Charlotte Moore of something along the lines of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They don't use those terms, but Rob clearly makes up a scenario of putting a gun in someone's face. Then both Port and Oban say Charlotte Moore has done worse than that. Let's be clear. Charlotte Moore hasn't committed any crime. She hasn't been charged with any crime. These conspirators have just fabricated one more big fat lie out of thin air. That's disgusting. Like I said, Aaron Oban blames Moore for the problems with the children that she's managed for the last years. Now that's extra fancy. When it comes to provocation, Port and Oban are clearly on point. Their protected instigators are constantly hitting below the belt. Let's look at what their deep state counterparts are doing. Last week, I proved that I'm being shadow banned. I showed you how you can tell. I played videos showing cutouts threatening to frame me and provoking me with false accusations. One of the great provocations that I get frequently is, "You can't do anything about it." At this point, I've shown evidence of spies following me, harassing me using high-tech methods. I haven't shown yet the evidence that I've collected on how they can hack and change many internet computer programs. They've done this to me frequently. When I stung Sally Yates, the person that attacked Trump, she asked me if I wanted a DJ. What she was saying was, not only can we control what shows up on your internet searches and who you can reach, we can control what songs play on the radio if the facility you're in has internet radio. The spies have demonstrated this many times, and I've caught it on video many times. After I produced last week's show, the song on the radio at the first opportunity was Aerosmith, "Screams Have No Reply." Can you read between the lines? Aerosmith, roughly translated, means master of the airwaves that works with metal. My name, Ferris, means iron. In the very brief time that I went into a facility where a spy could pass a message over the airwaves, it seemed to be dialed in to provoke me. The message is, no matter how much noise you make and how much evidence you put up, we won't let you be heard. I was taking my videos and sharing them, the link to my videos, and sharing them all day long, and monitoring the responses, which only come locally. You have no reply on your videos. We own you. We control you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I can't play that video for you because that song is copyrighted, but I can play this one. This is me showing that the link I'm trying to share is changed. Someone is able to change it on my Facebook page. When I share a video, whoever gets the link gets something else. Back when I made this video, I was trying to figure out why my screams had no reply. When I checked on it, this is what I got. Instead of the link taking me to my video, the link took me to someone shooting at me. Clip 4, please.
Okay, this is FISA abuse. This is real good live caught FISA abuse. I just posted this on True Social straight off my clipboard. It's a link to the new special on my billboard saying, hey, watch this, and it's going to Oksana Trump. But watch what happens when I hit it.
I did that several times, following the link and making videos. The message was pretty clear. I had people shooting at me in all different scenarios. There was the same girl threat that I get frequently. One was a clip of a koala bear stranded in the middle of a flooded river. The little animal had to get on a boat to get rescued. Quite synonymous with my story. The people who chose what videos would replace mine were clearly passing messages to me. This is a crime. It's election fraud. It's tampering with a witness and obstructing an investigation. It's called federal racketeering, and in this case, it's treasonous. The message is you are unable to take effective action, helpless, powerless. This is the primary definition of impotent. That is the loud message from the brave and powerful Dan Lip. No doubt another spokesman for the deep state criminals that are silencing the voices of the American citizens. Controlling what you see and believe. Controlling your political candidates. I'm not a coward. I am afraid to get on the boat that's been offered so many times. I'm afraid to cooperate with our spy agencies. That's not cowardice. That's the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I'm not powerless or helpless, certainly not hopeless. I don't believe those lies. I believe the voice of truth. I know what the truth is. If you're able to get this podcast, it's probably because you live near me or are on my list of Facebook friends. I hope you'll share it. I caught the person that led the deep state attack against our freedom and our president. I caught the corrupt U.S. attorney that signed the FISA warrant against Trump. And that's under investigation in stereo. Our U.S. attorneys are caught in the crime of black ops fraud, FISA fraud, and FISA abuse, and misprision of treason. These criminals are weak, and they are in the vast minority. They present themselves as all-powerful, but they have to hide because the vast majority wants them held accountable for treason. My encouragement to you is that you would read God's word. I hope you'll pray for me too. The atheist and false witnesses are convincing. God said that in the last days he would send a powerful deception to those who haven't believed the truth, his word, but rather delighted in wickedness like fraud. That's Thessalonians 2 through 11. 2 Thessalonians 2 through 11. I find encouragement in Psalm 37, and I think you will too. These conspiring, wicked people can't provoke me to lash out. Don't let them provoke you either. When you see someone they've provoked losing their cool, understand what the problem is and don't exacerbate the situation. Encourage them to read God's word and find comfort in the truth. There's a lot of comfort there. God said in the last days the lawless one would be exposed and that he would be overthrown with the breath of God's mouth. The truth. Know the truth.